And welcome back, guys, to another Thursday night. Thank you very much for joining us. And we've seen a lot of regulars on here and a few new people, which is good. And by God, we got a few questions to start off with. So we'll pretty much just jump straight into it. But before we start, could you please just hit that subscribe button and share this video and give it the big thumbs up? I'd really appreciate it. So we'll just bring Jason in here. Good evening, Jason. How are you?
That's all right. Pretty good. What's happening?
Oh, not much. It's been work. I only got home from work 20 minutes ago. This daylight savings stuffs me up.
Queensland, mate, they've got to get with the time. Those bloody rednecks in Queensland, they've got to start getting with the times. You know, daylight savings is where it's at. Get with it.
Yep, exactly. I couldn't agree more. Bob Catter, stop stuffing us up. Let us have daylight savings. He's always against it. So we're seeing a few people in here tonight that are regulars, which are really good that they're coming back. That's always a good sign. And a few new ones. We've got Peter from the NSC. And, old Sexy Did. Colin Penfold. We got Hootie Hoo from the US. He's in here, another YouTuber. It's always good to see him. He did actually put out one of the best hunting videos I'd seen this year, apart from yours, of course, Jason. But he did a really good deer hunting video. I really recommend you guys go and have a look at it. It was actually made really well. It's the sort of hunting videos I like. It's really very good. Yeah, Phantom, Joseph, Aussie Capitalist. I talked to this week actually. Had a bit of a conversation with him. So. Yeah, it's all going good. So how's your week been?
Luckily you saved that one and said, mine was as good as mine, if not better.
Yep. It was very good, very good. So how's your week been?
Oh, not bad, man. Just not been doing much in shooting. I wasn't going to be on this stream, as you know. I was supposed to be going away smashing some long-range rabbits again. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. I just have the worst luck in the world. It was absolutely pissing down where I'm going, yet haven't seen rain in Sydney. Once, I think, the other week, about a small bit of rain. Just keeps raining down there. So I've put it back another week till next week. It seems it's probably going to be raining, massive amounts of rain on Saturday and Sunday again. So I'm going to have to put it back another week. By that time, I'll probably be down on the Riverina, shooting down on the Riverina for my annual trip at the end of November. So anyway, we'll see. What can you do? Weather's weather. You can't do much about it. You just got to try your best.
Yeah, exactly. And we already have our very first super chat here today from Lockie. Thank you very much, Lockie, for donating $20. Really, really appreciate it. Everything does help, especially for the ammo, because today I brought a new gun. I'm not going to say what it is, but the donations will definitely be going towards the ammo costs for the review. Not this Saturday. I'll probably do it the following Saturday. I'm actually going out on this Saturday with Marty, who I do the show with. We're going out for a bit of a fun shoot together, so that should be good. So he's bring out some of his new guns.
Yeah, it looks like a good weekend. I ended up buying, what did I buy? I was blasting the rabbits with the 260 when I got the opportunity. So I was using the 143s, ended up picking up 1,000 of the 140 grain ELD matches. And then I thought to myself, I got them in the mail and they were in the boxes. They weren't like bulk packs or anything. And I thought, I'll see if they got any more. They still had a fair few more. So I picked up another 1,500 rounds. So that'll give me about 2,500 rounds for the of the 140 grain ELD match. So it cost me about $1,400, but probably won't have to buy any 260 projectiles probably for a long time. I've still got about 400, I think 300 of the ELDX, so I'll keep shooting them. I know that load works well, and it's 2,500 rounds. What can you say? That'll be certainly good for a while.
Yes, no, exactly. Now, you did it a few years ago. You brought in bulk, and I thought, geez, you spent $4,000, didn't you? Buying a whole variety of stuff. And I thought, there's a lot of money. Yep, not too bad. And then bang, we had the 22 shortage after that. And then the powder shortage. And here you are, you're sitting pretty. So yeah, not such a bad idea. If you can afford to buy stuff in bulk when they come up at a good price, it's getting to the stage now where we have to. Now, Hootie should be able to tell us because he's over in Tennessee. If you can hear this, Hootie, do you? What is the ammo? Because I read this week that 9mm and 223 and 308 are very sparse over there in the US, and so whatever's running out in the US is going to run out here in Australia because they've got to look after themselves before they worry about good old Australia. Because well, why wouldn't they? We're only a drop in the ocean. So it'd be interesting to know exactly.
Hootie says here 140 grain will smack the bunnies. Hootie, what do they cost? It'd be interesting to find out. What do they actually cost in the US? We'd love to get your price because these were just too good to pass up. $52.99, $53 a box. Even with the first time I bought the 1,000, it was $30 postage for 500 and then an extra $7 postage for the extra 500. So I thought, well, it just makes sense to buy the 1,000, and then when I did the extra 15 boxes, so the extra 1,500, that was only $45. So it works out at about 54 cents a round. I mean, that's matched bullets from a quality manufacturer. And I just can't pass that up. And like people said, when Aaron was saying, when I spent that $4,000, yeah, but I bought like kilos of powder and primers and 22 rounds. And hey, if 22 goes out, I've still got probably 1,500 rounds of the Federal Hunter Match and the CCI. Is it CCI? No, high velocity. I always mix it up again. What's that English brand? You know it. What is it again? I keep forgetting it.
Oh no, not
Come on, guys,
RWS.
I'll go to the YouTube. Come on, guys. You know the brand. It's English.
Not SKS.
No, Ely.
Yeah. Yep.
So I've got about 1,000 rounds of Ely high velocity as well. Yeah, man, it's going to be good. So, like I said, if you've got the money, buy up. I remember I told you that story ages ago. I think it was the Nosler ballistic tips for 223, and I bought a pack of 250. I remember I looked at the box. They were like $48, $46 for 250 or $56. And when I went to look at them again 4 years later, they were well over $100. So I was like, holy crap, that's certainly makes a difference to buy in bulk if you can afford it.
Well, the average price of the Hornady that you got is normally about $85 a box, normally. So
see, even Hootie says here, he goes, our ammo is so high and hard to find right now. Those that have it are the price gouging. 50 rounds of 9mm going for $25. Okay. Well, man, I wish it was that cheap here in Australia.
yeah, because there is another one here. Where is it? Yeah, Mick, he did say $25 is cheap. Hootie, it is $38 here. Yeah, I think the last review I did with a 44 Magnum, it cost me something like $70 for a box of 50 for 44 Magnum, $70 or $80. That's the sort of thing we pay over here. It's just completely ridiculous, really. That's why you got to reload. That's why everyone over here reloads big time, because you can really cut those costs down in this country. And I've still got mountains of powder left over for 9mm, because when the ADI factory burnt down here, all the pistol powders, they were very hard to get. I stocked up on some shotgun powder that I can use for 9mm. I managed to make 10,000 with what is it, AP50, 10,000 rounds of 9mm, and I'm still going through those. And now I've got so much shotgun powder left I'm going to use for my next row of 9mm. But now projectiles are worth a fortune for 9mm.
Yeah,
I was using the berry projectiles in bulk. I found them very good, and just for plinking away.
Steve was just asking a question. I'll just get this one out of the way. He said, he just got his new Delta Striker. So he said he saw mine for sale. I'm keeping it. The only reason I had it up for sale is even Aaron knows this. I spend most of my time. I don't really get a chance to long range. Should I prefer sort of longer range hunting? Yeah, I'll have a go at the gongs and targets. I do find it pretty fun. But at the end of the day, too, a 34 mil tube, and I'm predominantly a hunter. I wanted just to step back to a smaller tube. So I was going to go to the 30 mil, but I can't really get what I'm asking for it, I don't think. And I've had some stupid offers. So I'm not even sure if it's still up there. If it is, I'll just take it down because I'm just gonna keep it. I'm running it on the Bagara at the moment. So that's going to be quite interesting. But yeah, I just didn't need a 34 mil tube, man, for elevation. I don't shoot further than about 500-600 meters mostly. So I just didn't really see a need for it. But no, nothing wrong with it, man. You'll love it. Great scope. You'll never have a problem with it, dude. It's fantastic.
Yeah, well, just looking at Bagara's here, who's a regular, who's an awesome dude. It's just set me off about the new gun. I'm very, very interested in purchasing is the new Bagara. Was it the M14? Is it or the what?
Is it the B14R?
The B14R, the 22 trainer. I saw 22 Plinks to use it this week, and I'm really, really keen in getting my hands on one when they finally come to the country. It's something I'm really interested in. Full size magazine that takes 22, so 308 size bolt throw for training. Fantastic gun. That's one gun I think I'm going to buy. It's not the gun that I've got coming next week that everyone's been asking me to buy, and I've managed to hunt down the last one in Australia today. So hopefully they'll be here next week that I can show you.
And you were talking about that, and we were talking about reloading and that. Me and Aaron were talking about a guy I found on YouTube, Eric Cortina from Texas, and did an interview with him very early this morning, actually Australian time, about 5:30 in the morning. So I get up early to do this show, guys. I get up early at 5:30 in the morning to talk to people in the US. But the way he does, I think people will like it. I was actually pretty riveted the way he actually comes up with a load, and it's so interesting, man. I'll wait to say how he sort of does it because it was fairly in depth. So you'll need to listen to the show. But yeah, the way he does it, he actually goes for consistency in spread first before he even shoots paper. And I was like, wow, my mind was completely blown. I'm like, wow, so you don't shoot for groupings first and stuff like that, then work out what is via a chronograph what's actually shooting very well, like via extreme spread or standard deviation. He said no. And the essence, which I never thought about too, the bullet seating depth. He said that will have way more effect, and from his experience, than changing powders or changing bullets. Play with your seating depth if you're not getting results. And yeah, mind blown, man. Great show. I really enjoyed it. So that'll be coming out probably mid-November. So check out that when it comes out. Really nice fella too.
Well, a mate of mine's got the 338 Edge, and it shoots really well. But he said if he makes the seats them a lot further out, boom, the group's closed right up, but there's no way you can ever use the magazine for hunting. It won't fit in, but he said it's amazing how much the group's changed with the 338 Edge, which is a bigger gun, again over the 338 Lapua. It actually changes it that much. It's the seating depth.
Yeah.
But he's gone because he uses it for hunting, so he's gone back just to so I can fit in the magazine.
Same thing as he said too, that about it's the same thing, and we know this. If you're just going to be hunting, say up to 200 meters, you don't need to worry about all that extreme spread stuff, and because you're shooting 100 to 150 meters, find a good load that shoots accurately at 100, and that's your load. But again, once you start, once you start stretching that out to anywhere even he said up to 500 is really not that bad for extreme spread, but you start getting beyond that in that real long range shooting. Which I consider anything probably above 700 is a fairly long way, depending on what size target you're shooting. He said it doesn't really make a difference, but when you get to those higher things, that makes an absolute difference. So I'm hoping to change that with my 243. But we talked a lot about components, quality of components. Getting basically the best quality components you can get. So you don't have to, and again, you kept saying it, mate, comes down to consistency, the consistency of what you're doing every single time, and if you change something, that could change, the way the bullet presents, So, yeah, mate, very interesting. I was quite riveted by, at least his take on how we do things and may give it a try to see if it can work for me too.
But how far do you actually go, though? Because, I'm putting in with the PRC quarter-inch groups and half inches averaging. 1-inch group is real bad for me. It's geez, that's bad when it's not throwing them. But now I've gone to the 142s. They seem to be working all right. And I'm just basically counting the bits of powder at the end of it to get it smacking on the balance beams. And I'm still getting about 20 to 30 spread. When I put the Hornady match on the chronograph, that was getting up to a 50 mil spread, but it's getting absolute pinholes. So, really, how important is the spread?
He talks about too, especially when you find a node. This wasn't more on the show, but on some of the videos on YouTube. If you, let's say it's grouping, let's say like shit, and then all of a sudden you go to the next, say 0.5 powder charge, and he goes, it's grouping like you wouldn't believe, and then you go another half a grain up, and it's bad again. He goes, don't go anywhere near that load. It's not good. It's just purely luck in that pocket. You want to find, but Rusty, a node where he goes, you might get, say, a grain to a grain and a half of powder, right, where it shoots pretty well there for all those, say, 3 powder charges. Then he goes, then I come to the middle of that good, the worst powder charge and the best one is I'll come in the middle. Then he'll start working on seating depth. And I never thought of that. I just went to the Sammy spec on the powder website, and it says 260 Remington 2.810. Okay, 2.810. That's the end of it. I didn't realize, that basically bullet seating has such a huge impact on the quality of that loading. And sometimes I'll have an average load, and he goes, but the extreme spread or the spread on that, he goes, is awesome, right? It's awesome. He goes, I'll play with seating depth, and he goes, I'll tighten that group right up. No problem at all. No problem at all. And he goes, he's never had, he goes, with a good barrel and a good load and good components, he's never had a group, so that's grouping, say 0.6 of an inch. He plays with seating depth, bang, he goes, it's like a 0.1 inch gun. If you obviously you're shooting F class and PRS, but he goes, F class is a whole different ball game to PRS. He goes, you're hitting targets. He goes, a half-inch gun is no problem for PRS because you're only shooting up to 500. The targets are fairly big, not a problem. But he goes, you shoot a half-inch gun on F class, he goes, you'll come last. So yeah.
Yes, well, maybe I could use my if I was interested in PRS, use my actual hunting rifle, the Browning Hell's Canyon 306. I'm getting 3-inch groups at 500 meters.
Yeah, well, that's
as long as it works. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. So long as it works.
Hootie did say, it's miles up, I've got so many comments. He did say that the average price of here we go, not coming up, but the average price of 50 rounds of 9mm is $8 normally in the US. Imagine if we had $8 for 50 rounds over here. Man, you'd just be at the range going full retard every day, wouldn't you?
Even if you had the conversion rate, what's that, say $15? Amazing, dude. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
$12 conversion rate. Be about $12.
Well, there you go.
About 75 cents now to the US dollar. Yeah, imagine that. That's not even a Big Mac Happy Meal thing. So
that's why we've got some good relationships with people that support us and that. But I get that sometimes. It's a sad feeling when things are so expensive. Except for guns, people feel the need that they can't afford that expensive price, that they need to go overseas, and even with shipping and possibly GST involved, they can still get it cheaper. Like it's just. Yeah, I mean, it's bad the way things have gone, in this country a little bit. We need to sort of pull it back a bit. But, that's been going on for a long time, so I don't think it's going to change, in the future. But we can only hope.
Well, the guys we do deal with, you and me, one of the only companies that don't price gouge. They lowered all their prices of their guns. So the ones we do deal with don't do all that. So we're quite lucky there, actually. But yeah, some of them are 25% hike. So we do have another super chat here from Imran, $7.99. Thank you very much. I'm sure our friends at WFAA will bend the knee for Fun Control Australia. Yes, and we will get into that story very, very soon.
And you've just, poor guy, his name's Ibrahim, you goober.
Ibrahim, yep. Sorry, Ibrahim.
Hey, guys, don't blame him. It's those terrible glasses he's got on. It's those cheap petrol station glasses that he's got on.
These are my actual prescription ones. I had to get new ones the other day.
You need to get them expanded better.
Well, I can't find my actual computer glasses. I don't know where I've put them.
He starts reading names different, guys, because he needs those big, thick Coke bottle ones, so he can see what's in front of him.
Pretty much, yeah. Yep. All I cop is shit from Jason every week. The abuse he gives me is just disgusting. So
I try to help him. I try to help him, guys, but it's just you can't be helped sometimes, but we try our best.
So we are looking at. I did see a subject about the first subject we're going to talk about. Someone was actually talking about it. Like we've had there's 200 questions here already. We've only just started the show.
And while Aaron's looking at that, don't forget, guys.
Here we go.
Give that a thumbs up. Give that thing a thumbs up. We don't have that traditional troll yet for the 0 with the 0 thumbs up, so that's good.
Yeah, I haven't got the YouTube part on tonight, so yep. Give the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and head over to Hootie Who's channel here. Head over to his channel, and it's awesome. I'm really enjoying it. Every day he makes a video, and I was talking to him the other night, and he films every week, and then every night he's up editing after he puts his kids to bed. The dude's got such great hype. He's awesome, and he's so nice to talk to, guys. He'll answer all your questions if you do want to get hold of him. So go over, and it's up on the screen now. Go find Hootie Who and subscribe to his channel.
Yeah, I'm just looking at YouTube. Who was those bastards? I just said leave a thumbs up, and then 2 people left a thumbs down, and then 1 disappeared. So obviously, but that's good. Hey, we love when the haters watch. Welcome to Shooting Stuff Australia and Aaron's channel. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate your viewership because you give us extra numbers. Thank you.
Yep, exactly. You can't go wrong. And I love the trolls. Love the trolls. They make great entertainment. Their comments. Jason and me just piss ourselves most nights. You see this guy, you see this guy or that guy, and we're just cracking ourselves up. Oh yeah, this guy's an absolute potato. He's on there loving the show on this one, but then goes to another channel and bags me out. And same with you.
Here we go. It was 2 thumbs down, then it went to 1, then it went to 0. Now it's 63 ones. So you bastards on the channel, you bastards. Hopefully,
we're coming for you.
Whoever that thumbs down is, you get rid of that right now.
Yeah, or else. So, another thing. Okay, before we get into our first topic for the night, another thing I'm getting is everyone saying, "Did YouTube get back to you on your email that very nasty email I sent them?" That I can bring up here if you guys want to see it. I put up the video of the 300 Norma Victrix, and it's been sitting on my channel, monetized, not released, but monetized for 3 weeks now. As soon as it started getting a few views, bang, demonetized, and I got it repelled and said, no, take a look at it. Came back straight away. No, you can't monetize it. So I sent them a bit of a email here. So I have to bring up my page. And I said, I'll first fill everyone in. Even the guys at work today were pissing themselves over it. And so I sent them a bit of a email because I wasn't too happy, if I can even find the bloody thing.
So you look at that. I'll look at it. Let's just see who's in the chat. We've got our friend Happy Hunter as usual. He's back. Mick Nolan's back. Andy's back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 7. Who else we got? That's our regulars. Mick Beckers, I've seen him before. Joseph Sherman, of course, our buddy Chris Miller. He's back on. Aussie Shooter, we've seen him before. Who else we got? Someone fancy. I don't know if I've seen someone fancy before, but welcome. Who else we got up here? Just having a look.
Yeah, there's
also got our buddy Bagara, HM operator. He's always here, adding. Rob's Woodworking's back as well. Neil Constantine's back as well. 6, he's back. Long Bowman 89. He's back. I think I saw him last week.
James LR, he's back.
Yeah, Matt Cato, seen him before. Peter Zabradak from the National Shooting Council. Chris DeLaba, he's a regular as well. Sorry if I've missed anyone. I do apologize. I'm just trying to scroll up. But have you got that thing? I think we're 20 minutes in. We need to do our topics, I think.
So if you guys didn't watch the video, go watch the 300 Norma, the Victrix, the last video I put out last Monday. Demonetized. So I sent them this here. I'll read it out to you. Bullshit, you many reviewed the video. If you did, you vegan ass munchers would have seen it did not violate your rules. Get some of your blue-haired, tofu-eating, soy boy, gender-neutral creeps to do their job and tell me what butt hurt you. Kind regards, Shooting Stuff Australia.
Just take that comment off not from Hootie, but we can't see it. Let him see it. Take that comment off. You couldn't see it. You were covering You were covering it.
Okay, now I've got comments up here. Okay, so there it is. What I just told you, this is what we talked about, and this is what everyone's been asking me this week. Have they replied to you? And no, they haven't. They didn't get back to me. But they did stop my views. It died in the arse. No one watched the video after that. So they obviously pulled the pin on the video. And so I took, whenever they demonetize something, I take all the ads off it so they don't make a single thing. So we do have a couple of super chats. We got Daniel Andrews from Victoria by the looks of it. You said my name. That's worth $7.99. Thank you very much. And we got...
Let him out, you bastards. Let him out, Andrews, you bastard.
Yeah. And we got Harp 666, $5. Thank you very, very much. And that will be going directly to the ammo costs for our new review of the gun that you've all been asking for. So, okay, we'll get into the first topic. Something Jason's very passionate about. He phoned me up early in the morning and a bit of a huff and all about the Fisher and Shooters party, the fake pro-gun party, and they started voting with the Greens. So you take it from here, Jason, explain it, and I will just go through some of these questions because people have actually asked about it in the questions.
Well, this is part of what we were talking about last week. I mean, it's somewhat part of it. We're talking about the Gun Control Australia stuff. So obviously people know, if you live in Victoria, like some of the people that are watching here, a lot of people don't like being locked down. They think it's ridiculous. The numbers they're getting now are not really far off, or if not the same as New South Wales, and we don't have the issues that, Victorians have down there. So I've been following it quite religiously, and most the omnibus bill, which groups basically a lot of procedural changes into one bill. So we know probably a couple of months ago, Daniel Andrews had his hand out wanting, all these extra powers to extend the state of emergency, to extend the lockdowns. And all this other minuscule crap that basically keeps people under the foot of Daniel Andrews in Victoria. People can't open, people can't make money. I've got friends in Victoria that run businesses, and really, I'm telling you, they're not doing well at all. They're really not doing well. You can imagine, and I have people that I know saying, well, it's not really that bad, but they've still got jobs and they're on great incomes. A lot of people that I know in Victoria, unfortunately, don't have any jobs anymore. So it really... I'm trying to not to be a swear or anything. I'm just trying to be a bit more calmer than I was the other day. So when this omnibus bill, obviously there were parts of this bill that were obviously removed. Now, the scary part was the government wanted to put in an authorised person that if you were thinking, or you're on the internet or Facebook and they think you're going to do something wrong, right, they can imprison you for whatever time they deem necessary. Now, this is very scary, in my opinion. Now, obviously, this was dropped from the bill, which is what the bill that Jeff Borman voted for from the Shooters, Fishers and Farmers Party. Now, obviously, I was looking at several different pages, Nationals, Liberal Democrats, following those and what they're actually going to do. A lot of them were talking on their own page. So whilst a lot of the terrible stuff in the bill is gone from the bill, it's just scary that, again, we've given much more power and we're emboldening Daniel Andrews even further to lock people down. So this is obviously a lot scarier to me. So I'm reading this article again. This is from October 14th, 2020. Victoria's amended COVID-19 bill passes again. The Victorian government controversial COVID-19 omnibus bill is set to become law following a marathon debate overnight. Now, what I told Aaron firstly was that anything... Listen, the Greens are idiots. We know that. On the odd occasion, 99.9% of the stuff they say is crap, but I'm not saying everything they do is crap. I don't like them, never liked them, would never vote for them. They're the enemy of shooters. But 99.9% of the time, they're bad. So as soon as I know the Animal Justice Party's Andy Medic is voting for it, I think it's Samantha Ratnam from the Greens, and also Fiona Patton from formerly the Sex Party, now the Reason Party. She's voting for it. That should scare people very significantly. Anything that the Greens are voting for and Andy Medic from the Animal Justice Party is not going to be good for anybody. I don't know how anyone just can't see that. I mean, if it was a good bill in favour of hunters, shooters, businesses, whatever it may be, do you think you'd see the Greens or Andy Medic from the Animal Justice Party or Fiona Patton actually voting for this bill? Absolutely not, because anything that seems common sense to us is not common sense to the Greens, the Reason Party, or the Animal Justice Party. So obviously, even the Nationals oppose this bill. So the Liberal Nationals oppose this bill in its entirety. The Liberal Democrats in Tim Quilty and Dave Limbrick were opposed to this bill. And the ones that did vote for it were the Greens, the Animal Justice Party, Fiona Patton from the Reason Party, and Shooters, Fishers and Farmers, Jeff Borman. I've got absolutely no idea why Jeff, when he didn't even have the deciding vote, if he didn't vote for the bill still would have passed anyway. So I have no idea why he gave and would embolden the Andrews government to give them more power in any way, shape or form. And hence the reason why the Nationals don't like them, would never vote for them. They sold shooters out. But at least they had sense to vote against the bill. The Liberal Democrats had sense to vote against the bill. And there was one or two other, I think, independents that voted against the bill as well. Pretty much no one cares about them. I know Jeff did vote for the extension of the 5 kilometre rule. But again, even if you were going to vote for the bill, if they said to me, well, we're not going to extend the 5 kilometres, I said, well, I'm just not going to support your bill. End of story anyway. But anyway, so my point is you never, ever embolden the Andrews government by giving him any more power than they need. And they don't really need any, in my opinion. They need to get businesses open, people back to work. And, that's going to be the best thing for Victoria because, you're hearing the stories, guys. We're hearing it. Mental health is rampant. Friends that I know are going, they've been kicked out of their homes. They're, and again, the banks are now starting to ask people to repay their mortgages. People that rent houses are now being asked to pay rent if they haven't been kicked out already. And don't forget, when you rent, you're not expunged from paying that bill. If you haven't paid rent for 4 months, they don't just let it go. You now have a bill of $5,000 to $6,000, depending on how much your rent actually is. So again, need to get Victoria open, working, getting people back to work. And I just think absolutely silly move. And you know what? If you go on my page, you go on Aaron's page, you even go on Jeff's page, he made a video to try and justify why he voted for this bill. Well,
here it is.
If he hasn't deleted the comments by now, I literally did not read one positive comment. I think Aaron had one on his page. I had one on my page. 99.9% of people that posted on those articles on mine, Aaron's, and even Jeff's own page supported us and did not support him. So, again, hopefully that's a wake-up call for Jeff to wake up to himself. But, and I hate to say it, I gave faith that Jeff was a former police officer, would act with, I'm not saying he hasn't acted with integrity, but, I mean, what do we expect from police officers? Again, I just really can't say it any plainer or cleaner than that. I hope Jeff learns from this and doesn't vote for this type of crap into the future because, like I said, as soon as I saw the Greens and the Animal Justice Party voting for this bill and Labor, sorry, I had Labor in there too, that would have scared me enough to say, well, this bill is probably not good for Victorians if the Greens and the Animal Justice Party are voting for it. Sure, there's other stuff in there which is not really that bad, which is not really a problem. Getting things open, getting the courts working, getting Parliament sitting. I don't have a problem with those things. But again, by giving him more power, you just embolden the guy to do what he's doing right now and destroying people's lives. And the turd burger needs to go. They've had 2 people resign in the last 2 weeks. I mean, how many more need to resign? But Daniel Andrews doesn't know anything. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know who done hotel quarantine. That's resulted in over 900 people dying. So, see you later, Andrews. The quicker you go, the better. Goodbye.
Yes, well, just look at the comments here are just absolute gold. Thank you to Chris Miller for his super chat, and Bagar has given us one as well. Gunaporium does click and collect. Oh, they're talking about a gun shop, I think, down. I don't know where it is. New South Wales, isn't it? Aren't they?
Which one's that one? Sorry,
The Gun Emporium does click and collect.
that's in Victoria. Yeah, Victoria.
Yep. Sweet, that's good. Thank you very much, Bagara, for that. But looking at these comments, just so here we go. What did the SFFP, because they chucked farmers in there to try and grab a bit more votes, because shooters have had a guts full of them, get voting with the Wuhan Dan? That animal justice woman voted for an extension of the state emergency last month. Next minute, dog groomers couldn't work. What an absolute joke. Absolute joke. These comments here, mate, I think he's cooked his goose, to be quite honest with you. You just read, this is Jeff Borman's actual page. Just
There's not one.
yeah,
There's not
you
one
are a
positive comment on there.
you are a complete sellout. Darren Wells at the top called him an absolute grub.
I mean, people
yep.
will say, oh, you don't like them, blah, 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 blah. I don't like to say this stuff. I thought Jeff was an upstanding guy. I really did. But, to embolden this sort of behavior, voting with, and me and Aaron were having a discussion. Maybe we'll talk about this, Aaron, because this is very, very, very interesting and pertinent. So let's say, but I don't know why the government would do it, because they didn't need Jeff's vote. But let's just say, for shits and giggles, so to speak, they've threatened him with banning duck hunting in Victoria. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So let's say that's true. Let's give Jeff a break and let's say that's true. How can we possibly trust the government, especially with what Daniel Andrews is doing now, not to ban duck hunting anyway, even if he does agree with the bill and ban duck hunting anyway? But Aaron had a point of view on that with discussion. But Aaron, that one that you said, well, it's probably a get out of jail. Discuss that part.
Yeah, well, if they threatened, had a gun to his head and saying, if you don't agree with this, we will ban duck hunting. Jesus, if that was the case, that is his get out of jail free card. He could have said, guys, I saved fish and shooters, saved duck hunting. I had to do this because duck hunting was going. I've saved it. That would have exonerated him from everything. That's wiped the slate clean if that was so. And you can't tell me no politician to save their ass would do something like that if that happened. They all would. They don't want bad press. Don't want bad press at all. I'm surprised he hasn't taken down half those comments, because they're not good. Not good at all.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at them, and someone did send me an email here as well, and obviously I haven't heard back from him, because facts are facts. He says, mate, his name is Ben. I won't say his last name, don't want to be rude, but he goes, mate, you need to sort out that post about Jeff Borman voting with the Labor Party. It's not true. Lots of blokes getting pissed at SFP for no reason. So I went on his page. Someone sent me a link to his video on his own page. And basically what Jeff said was, I voted yes to the bill after the crap was removed. I also voted yes to removing the 5 kilometre limit. This was defeated. So, hi, Ben. By his own admission, he voted for the bill, therefore reducing freedom and liberty in Victoria. Get your facts straight, pal. And then I sent him that screenshot. He's seen it, but hasn't responded back. Well, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. You're always going to get, mate, and we talk about this, no matter how many times they fuck up and do this crap, they've still got the bootlickers that will stand by them. They could support another round of gun bans, and there'll still be the bootlickers kissing the asses of these clowns. So, well, what did we have? We had what on the ABC? Borzak, who's a part of one of the senior guys in the party. I don't want a pump-action shotgun. I have no need for one. Well, why even say that shit? I don't need one either, but I'd love a pump-action shotgun.
Yeah, and you've seen that video floating around on the internet from formerly Robert Brown in regards to saying, yes, he would support the gun bans. I mean, I just can't vote for stuff like that, man. I just can't, and I was actually very concerned when I saw, and I like the LDP, but they would have copped the same treatment if they'd have voted for this bill as well. And I think it was Dave Limbrick from the LDP talking about the bill on his Facebook page and getting discussions. And, people were getting into him saying, don't you dare support this abomination of a bill. and he was looking at it saying, well, the bad things have been taken out, but there's some good parts. But obviously at the end of the day, they realised this bill was just an abomination and not going to be good for the people of Victoria. So they voted against it, and thank God they did, because if they weren't, I'd be talking about them the exact way I'm talking about the others right now. I'd be extremely disappointed. And it's interesting because no centre-right party other than Shooters and Fishers actually voted for this bill. Anyone with remotely a conservative bone in their body did not vote for this bill. Surely that should tell you all you need to know, that the Greens and Andy Medic and the Animal Justice Party voted for this bill. It's not going to be good for the people of Victoria. So why did he vote for it? I don't understand it. Is he getting something in return? Mate, it flabbergasts me why he voted for it, but again, like I keep saying, guys, is it about the shooting sports? Me and Aaron basically, except you guys doing awesome super chats, we do this basically for free. So, I don't get paid $180,000 a year to advocate for your interests in Parliament. I'd like to, but not always possible. So, again, is it really about defending shooters' rights, or do people get caught up in earning the money and just wanting to stay in Parliament just to make that cushy paycheck? And it pains me that there's a lot of people out there that could get that job and really have the best intentions of shooters at heart. And I think, again, we need to get people in there that just, have the best interests of shooters at heart and want to try and do the right thing. I know he doesn't have much power down there. That's fine. Neither does him and the Liberal Democrats together. They've probably got no power to get anything through Parliament. So, again, that's why I keep coming back to the political stuff. We need to probably put that to the side at the moment, and start pushing that legal avenue like NSC's been doing. People have been taking action through their local members for licenses and just pushing back. That's what we need to do.
Well, I've brought the video up. It's a 3-minute video. Tell us, guys, do you want to see this quick little video for 3 minutes about the complete and utter shit show disaster of the Fish and Shooters Party?
Just leave the link. Let them watch it in their own time. We don't want to bog it down with a 3-minute video. Just let them watch it in their own time. Put a link in the description, and people can make up their own minds. People can make up their own minds. But we were surprised that so many people, and thankfully, people that were on our page and Aaron's and even Jeff's and even other people that shared it, the comments were not good. It was 99.9% in favor of us, and not just us, but the people that posted it. And it's so interesting because I've seen people that have really been, that are supporters of SFP in Victoria, that have businesses that have really been blowing up hard on not only their personal social media accounts, which I'm friends with some of them, but also their public social media accounts have been absolutely silent on this issue. Not a single thing. Even some of the organizations, and again, we're not going to mention them, Aaron, any people that support them, mate, you've heard absolutely nothing. You've heard absolutely nothing. Not a single word from them. They're all dead silent because, oh shit, this is not good, but we better not say anything about them because they're buddies of ours. Well, that's where I don't care. It's not about the money. It's not about, I think it's about getting business open, getting people through the doors, getting people back to work, and doing all this stuff. So, again, very disappointing from Jeff. Hopefully he learns from this and doesn't do this in the future. But, again, this is about the 6th or the 7th time they've done this. And people just keep making excuses for them. It's almost like militant Green supporters. They just can't see it. They don't want to see it. They don't want to see how bad this is. And when they do, and if people are seeing how bad it is, they're just quiet. They're not saying a single thing because they're embarrassed to say something because they see the comments and they go, better not say anything because shit, no one's with us on this one. We're on our own.
Well, what's that old saying going that people were saying around the show? Vote SSFP. Lower your IQ, basically.
I just, I don't want to say this, man. I'm dying just to give them praise, man. I really am. I want to, man. I really do. I want them to do well. I want them to succeed. I want them to succeed for us, But when it just keeps happening, you have to think they just don't care about gun rights. They don't care. They don't care. We, like I said, I've always given them praise, absolutely, which was under former SFP founder John Tingle in New South Wales. He had the foresight and the know-how to negotiate with Bob Carr to bring in public land hunting in New South Wales. One of the most epic things that's ever happened in New South Wales, I think, especially when Queensland doesn't have it and some states around Australia don't have public land hunting. That was epic. I'll always praise them for that. And John Tingle did a fantastic job on negotiating with Bob Carr for state forest hunting. But that was back in 2005. We're now in 2021 almost, and we've not had one single policy change better for shooters. There's no suppressors. There's no, we haven't got rid of appearance laws. I mean, we just, as you know, we've done hundreds of videos on this. We just keep getting trodden on at every turn. And people say, well, we don't have enough power. Well, mate, it's been 25 years since Port Arthur. When are we going to have power? When? Like, if we vote more, are we going to get more people? I don't think we are. That's why I keep saying the legal avenue with a political avenue as part of that is the future going forward, because they're just going to keep shitting on us at every opportunity and we're not going to get any better. So anyway, it's up to you guys to make up your mind. If you think we're talking shit, that's up to you. But I mean, it's all there in video. It's all there in Hansard. You can't deny it. It's just, you know, if you don't want to see it with your own two eyes and take the emotion out of it, then you can't be helped. I mean, there's nothing I can do. If you still believe they're the best people for the job, then vote for them. That's your call. But, you know, I'd certainly be reconsidering that. And, you know, I'd certainly be giving to my other parties that are pro-freedom. Simple.
Yep, exactly. And guys, Jason's been very tame. You should have heard him on the phone. He was losing the plot. He was very emotional about it all. He has been very tame. This is, there's a story he wanted to tell. And, just it dumbfounds me. Now, I've had a lot of problems with the Fishwitz party, and over the years, know about getting all those messages about closing my Facebook site down and all that sort of crap from anonymous people from there. They're just an absolute nightmare. That's my view. Just an absolute nightmare.
Anyway, I mean, there's always hope for the future, but it just keeps happening. Like, I thought the first couple of times, this is, give them the benefit of the doubt, give the benefit of the doubt. And then it got worse and then worse. And then, you know, he made comments, Robert Borzak made comments about, I've still got them here on my OneDrive, I think, about talking about New Zealand, saying, well, where are this was after the Christchurch massacre. Well, where are those people now that wanted New Zealand style gun laws in place of our laws? In other words, our laws are better than New Zealand. I'm like, is this guy off his head, or like, what on earth are you talking about, dude? Are you serious? I mean, this is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
Phil Donato took the cake for me, though, when that Muppet came out and said, no one needs an AR-15. We're never going to advocate, or something on those lines. People are getting AR-15s. No one needs them. And started carrying on about semi-autos. For God's sake, you're meant to be fighting for our rights so we can have our semi-autos back for recreational shooting and hunting. For God's sake. You know, and here he is, the first day. It wasn't the day after he got voted in. He started sprouting this crap from day one. It's like, for God's sake. Same day. Jeez. Yeah. He couldn't even have a breather. He just had to get out his bloody democratic view. The guy's an absolute nut. Jeez, they're basically just Joe Biden guys.
Yeah.
But we'll all go through.
Here it is now, even. It says, here he is replying to this guy called Chris. Chris, yes, that seems to be the way of it. Also, all those geniuses wanting NZ gun laws in place of ours. How do you feel now? Then he talks about there'll always be some mad scumbag that will murder innocent people for some lunatic. Yada, yada, yada. Talks about massacres. But at the end of the day, it's all right there and there. You know, that seems to be the way. Also, all those geniuses wanting NZ gun laws in place of ours. How do you feel now? So in other words, our laws were way better than New Zealand's. I'm like, not even close, dude. I would have picked New Zealand's laws 50 million times over. I mean, they had one massacre in 26 years. Like, you know, pretty good odds, man. Pretty good odds. If people want to do bad things with firearms, they simply will just do that. I mean, nothing's going to stop them. You just got to put them in prison for a long time and never let them out of prison.
Yeah, so we basically, the Fishers and Farmers Party reverted to taking the piss out of every single shooter in Australia, taking the piss out of them and mocking them. How ridiculous is that? If that's not enough to say these guys are a fucking lost cause, I don't know what is. You're going to get your knuckle draggers who are going to vote for them, but that's about it. You always get them. You'll always get the Yeah,
And listen, I get it. It's going to be difficult with semi-autos. No one's saying that's going to happen overnight. And me and Aaron talk about this all the time. And you know what? It may never ever happen. But I mean, right now we're significantly behind in any sort of legislative change. You know, and it's just scary. You know, it's just scary. And I want to, and I'll bring up one more in a sec. I want to see if he responded, but you take over for just 2 secs because there's one that I wanted to read here also.
Okay, yeah. Well, this also, what you're saying will lead into our main story. But we'll go through a couple of super chats to thank the guys. JR said, I just can't understand how these parasites, the Greens, keep winning seats. It boggles my mind. Well, they're all inner city people, you know, just lap up mainstream media, drinking their lattes, eating their soy boys, and probably demonetized moderators they are for YouTube. There's those sort of people. So, yeah, unfortunately, you're always going to get the bottom feeders voting for the Greens. And we've got Andy or what is it? Andy 1234777. No need to mention this, but here's a donation basically for the ammo. Thank you very much. I did mention it because I'm very appreciative of your donation. And Joseph, when I called the SFF, which is the SFP party, of course, about a month ago about the secret COVID gun grab, they said that their direct enemies are the Greens and the Animal Justice Party. There you go. So they're siding with the direct enemies. I don't understand why they would turn around. Well, I think no one will ever understand these guys at all. So thank you very much for those donations.
I want to say one thing about that too. Like, I mean, sometimes, listen, and when I say this, I want to this is going to be very rare. It's probably going to be once in a lifetime, but there are probably going to be times where to get what we want, you may have to, this is politics, right? I'm not defending it. You may have to work with the Greens. You may have to work with it if we are going to get what we want. True, it's probably going to be very rare, a once-in-a-lifetime situation, but sometimes these parties are able to work together for the common good of the people of that particular state, right? So we need to be realistic, but 99 times out of 100, it's always going to be bad either for the people of that state or the people or shooters, depending on what that specific policy actually is. I wanted to go just as quickly, Aaron, on this one, right? So, and I'm surprised he hasn't responded, actually, because I was quite nice about it. So on that page, Shooters and Fishers one you posted on your page, there was a guy, Glenn, and he tagged Nick Demetto. So he's a Qatar Australia Party member there in, obviously, far as I'm aware, far north Queensland. And he said, I hope they aren't like this up this way. So meaning up in Queensland. So Nick says the Labor Party will attack licensed firearms owners every opportunity. CAP is the only party standing up for our rights in Queensland. So I asked an honest question, which is probably what most people are thinking, which I've discussed on this show before. I said, hi, Nick, I think you guys are great for shooters up in Queensland. No doubt. I support your advocacy. But that advocacy needs to come in the form of legislation. Cap and Bob haven't introduced one piece of legislation onto the floor of Parliament to make life easier for shooters. Bob has been in Parliament since 1974, so that's 50 years. When are we actually going to see some legislation from Cap? I think this is a fair question. Can you let us know what's going to happen and when? So I got 2 likes on that, and then he didn't respond at all. That was day and a half, 2 days ago. And then Glenn gives me all he does is give me their CAP firearms policy link and says, we need them in power to get the changes through. But here they are on their website. I'm like, that's fine. I like those guys. I think they do a great job for Queensland. But again, 50 years in Parliament to not introduce a single piece of legislation, I'm sorry, I just don't find that good enough. I'm sorry. I mean, if you guys hearing that information of being in Parliament since 1974 as a member of the Nationals before going as an independent and then forming Qatar's Australia Party, and they haven't even introduced a bill to be voted on to help shooters, what do you think they can possibly do for you? Like, again, I like those guys. I got nothing against. I think they're really good advocates. They say good things. It's certainly better than having enemies in Parliament, that's for sure. But again, when is that going to transpire into actual legislation? Because that's all that matters. We can flap it, and me and you can flap our gums all we like. We can bang on all we like. But what is that actually going to change? When are we actually going to see the legislation from our representatives tabled on, even if it doesn't pass. I want to see you at least having a go. That's all. Just have a go. That's all. And 1974, 50 years, I think, is more than reasonable enough time to actually introduce a piece of legislation. And I ask people that question a lot, and they say, oh, yeah, 2 or 3 pieces of legislation. I go, no, it's 0. So, again, where do we go from here if we can't even introduce legislation to Parliament and get it voted on, even if it gets voted out? Where do we go from here? Let us know in the comments.
Yep, exactly. So I do think it's time we get into our main story because we're almost an hour into the show.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, this sort of leads on to another thing that it dumbfounds me. 1 million odd gun owners and shooters plus in Australia, and a group that has only a handful of people working for them seems to get what they want and gets the ear of the politicians, not our hardworking tax-paying, who shooting and hunting has been a study a couple of years ago. We are the biggest taxable income and bring the most tax earnings into any sport and recreational pastime in Australia, because we buy the guns, we buy the ammo, we buy all the accessories, we buy the 4-wheel drives, we buy the swags, we buy everything and to go with it all, and we outdo basically all sports in Australia. But we're the number one of that for feeding these politicians their tax money. But we're the most discriminated group of people there is. So tonight's subject, finally, Gun Control Australia brought this up, and so proud of it. I've tried to do some research finding about Gun Control Australia as well. The members, 2 of the members have left, and basically all they say is Samantha Lee is a part of it. It's just very hard. So here's the article that came up. We are currently in consultation with Home Affairs, which I think is something with Border Force.
Just one sec. Hey, just get rid of that comment on the screen, dude.
Comment. Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. Yeah.
I told him, guys, I got to take control of this, man. What do you guys reckon? Let us know in the comments. Selm's taken over AHB to conduct all activities.
Oh, Jesus. That'll be one of the biggest woke channels there is. Okay, you finished your rant?
Yeah.
Right. We are currently in consultation with Homeland Affairs about reforms to imported firearms and weapons. Innovation is a hot topic, and it brings up issues with classification of firearms. Australian system of arms classification is outdated. New high-powered, rapid-fire, their catchphrases. Firearms are incorrectly classified because of type of guns wasn't available 2 decades ago. When our classification system was introduced, we need classification laws overhauled before the import laws are changed. Watch this space. So basically they're saying, once again, they can't tell us what are these rapid fire. They can't even give us what they're talking about. No rapid fire. What are these rapid fire guns? What are these high-powered rifles? Or high caliber or high power. What are they calling this? They don't even know. They can't supply some form of facts or even telling us what they are actually talking about. So most people have figured out the comments there are just 328 comments, just absolutely bagging them. And they did respond with one comment that I will bring up soon. But these people who have the ear of the government sprouting this shit. Now, I talked to a gunsmith a while ago, and what they do is very devious. They will bring up shit, misinformation, lies, and crap that's blatantly wrong. They bring it up, put it in the public forum, and then it's out there. So the lies are out there, and the low IQ people who don't know anything about guns are reading this and thinking this is fact. Once you've got it out there and it's in their head, that's what they believe because they don't know any better. And that's what Gun Control in Australia are masters at. They just get it out there so people will get it in their head because the mainstream media will report on Gun Control Australia left, right, and centre till the sun goes down. So, and this is exactly what this is. They're little catchphrases. Get the uneducated people who know nothing about guns, get them all worked up. What are they talking about? Yes, we must change this, even though no one knows what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. They haven't got any clarification on exactly what they're talking about. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So they've put this out and watched this space. So basically, we know they're talking about lever release guns, maybe lever actions, because they've always said they want to come after your lever actions. That's been on the card since 2014. I think the government has been wanting all lever actions to be banned. And of course, they're going after the straight pull guns, the straight pull shotguns, and the straight pull AR-15 styling sort of guns. So you can read between the lines. That's what they think.
Did you see that $100 super chat from the Real Australia?
Yep, that's what I was about to bring up before we go any further. Here we go. The Real Australia, thank you very much. Another $100 super chat. Thank you so much. Really, really do appreciate that. That is
well,
awesome.
you are getting in it on a bit, man. So maybe a bit of plastic surgery might have to happen soon with that super chat money, man. What do you reckon? Bit of a dye through the hair. What do you reckon, guys? Should he still go the silver grey fox or put a bit of a rinse through the hair? What do you reckon?
I could not dye my. One thing I could not do is dye my hair. No way. I'll shave my head before I do that. No way.
Oh, classic.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a story that came out. So where do you guys go from this? Because they're going to start reclassifying. If they reclassify a gun, they're not going to give you compensation at all. At all. You're not going to get compensation for it all if it's just reclassified, because technically it's not a ban, because you can still buy it if you decide to go out and get a category D or C license. But that comes with all the hoops and that. You got to start up a business, insurances. After 5 years, you got to prove that you're still actually making money and giving it a go, or your guns are just gone. I believe in Victoria, if you have a Cat D and they don't renew your license after 5 years, they come and take your guns from you and destroy them, and you don't get any money for them.
Oh, you got a super chat from someone fancy for $30.99. He says money to buy hair dye.
That's a pretty specific number. How does he know that's how much it costs?
Well, I don't know. Hey, at the end of the day, man, you got to do what your super chatters want, mate. If the money's for hair dye, we expect you to come with a full lush head of brown dark hair by next week.
I have a full lush head of hair. It's just salt and pepper.
Well, no more. $30.99 from someone fancy.
Thank you very much, someone fancy, for that. And that will be going towards ammo.
Hey, you got to do what the super chatters want, man. That's what they want. They get what they want.
Don't make me shave my head. But
oh, here we go from old Pranic Megan. The salt and pepper hair is sexy. Oh, we're Megan. No.
Thank you, Megan. No. Well, aren't you losing your hair, Jason?
It's not doing the best. I'm almost 40, but hey, I had friends that have got, they've got, they were bald as badgers at 30. So I'm just still happy. I'm almost 40 and got a 39. I'm 40 in April next year, man. Where'd the 20 years go? But, I've still got a head of hair. It's not too bad. A bit of a widow's peak, but, it's all right.
Yep. One thing I can't do is shave my hair. That's just something I can't do.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe we love you, Megan. Welcome back to the stream, but she's got to get some glasses, mate. She's got to get some salt and pepper. No, we're just playing. It's all good.
Yeah. I'll be going grey, 100% silver fox before I dye my hair. It can come sooner than later.
Decker Hex, Aaron actually makes me think of a teddy bear for some reason.
Gee, thanks. No, you can't come. You can't come and cuddle up to me.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, it's not that bad. Andrew said, Aaron, you might need some hair dye, but mine's losing his. Yeah, it's true. Then again, I've always had, what do they call that? The crown. I've always had a bit of a spot on my crown. And everyone said since I was like 18, oh, yeah, you're losing your hair at the top. And I said, but it's been the same for like 20 years. My pop had the same thing, like a little of a white spot at the top where the crown is. Obviously, it looks worse when, my hair's shorter. But I'm like, man, I've had that for like 20 years. It hasn't gotten any worse. So just if I can hold on to it for another 10 years, I'll be happy.
Yep. Yep.
Anyway, getting back to the article that you were talking about before we start reading some comments, we want to start going through some of the comments. Yeah, no, that Gun Control Australia, we all know they're talking about definitely straight pulls. They're on the chopping block. And I'd probably say that the pump action stuff is definitely on the chopping block too. But we all know mainly it is the straight pulls because, this new rapid fire technology, they go, well, the laws didn't cater for that. Well, we're just abiding by the law. So you can't keep changing the goalposts on us. You just can't keep doing that like they want to do. This is not the intention of it. Well, no, that's not how law works, mate. The law is there. You said this is the guns we can't have. New technology comes out. It's bad luck at the end of the day. You can go try and change the law, but again, that would be just I don't think it would be good for us and not good for their image if they want to get voted back in again. That's why people have got to vote with their feet and at least vote against these parties that are trying to take away our rights.
Yeah, well, the biggest problem is these guys do have the ear of the politicians and the police. They seem to be in bed with them all. They said this comes across as they can make a phone call. They're in talks with Homeland Affairs. Now, is that a part of Border Force? That's what I was told.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. How do they have the ear from these people? How do they have the ear of this government to do whatever they want to do? And they're the inside. Where are our people? Do we have a seat at the table? But again, a seat at the table for us. They don't listen to us anyway. They don't listen to anyone from the shooting community. So why bother anyway, I guess.
Thank you for Ibrahim, is it? $7.99. Another
Ibrahim.
I know. Do you think Gun Control Australia will succeed this time? I just don't know. You just don't know. As we're saying, they have the ear of these politicians, and the politicians have the ear of the police commissioners, and who the hell knows? Now, Jason, do you think you could at least spell my name right?
Oh, where did I say that? A-triple-A. Well, I'm trying to type here with this microphone in my face. You know what I mean? I'm trying to.
And Haji Bar. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now. It's not the best, but my writing's normally pretty good. But Mick Nolan, Aaron the Sugar Daddy. Well, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'm after a cougar. I want one of them to look after me. I don't want to be funding their lifestyle. They can fund mine. I'm after a cougar MILF. That's what I'm after.
Anyway, let's get into some comments, man. We're running out of time quickly. So, man, this time just goes so quick. But let's just hit some comments and see what a few of the people are talking about. And you got any ones there?
Yeah, Aussie shooter. Straight pulls are not rapid fire. When you have to take your hand off the grip trigger to rechamber them. Exactly. I've tried all the straight pulls. I own a straight pull shotgun. It's slower than most guns out there. The under and overs, bang, bang, done. 2 shots in a split second. And also hunting with semi-autos. I've hunted with semi-autos and it's just about the same speed as a bolt action, but when you're hunting, because you got to line up your next shot. It's just not like you do a mag dump on whatever you're hunting at.
Yeah. I'm just reading some of these comments. Classic.
And Cracker, unfortunately, they will succeed. It will just come to a point where we will just all have to, listen to the government and get our firearms our own way, which basically means underground guns, and that's what happens all over the world. Unfortunately, who knows if that will happen? But yeah.
Yeah, we know they're after. We know they've got the ear of these people. They don't want us to have guns. We saw that Mr. Potato Head from SAPOL, from South Australian Police, caught many times going, we're not going to ban the guns, the gel blasters. We're not going to, it's just a toy. It's just a toy. We're not going to ban it, multiple times. And then, it's now a firearm and we need to ban it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, these guys aren't fit and proper people to hold firearms if they think a gel blaster is a toy. So it's just, again, I have to question their, mental stability and being able to carry firearm on the job if they actually do believe a gel blaster is actually a real firearm. So it's very scary indeed that our law enforcement that carry weapons for self-defense, they're carrying that stuff and they can't tell the difference. And you'd have to question their, what sort of mental gymnastics they're going through to think this is actually a real firearm.
Yep, exactly. And once again, the loudest voice in Australia, as well in the US, isn't actually the popular voice. We need to make our voices heard. Well, we got all these goddamn bloody organisations. Make our voice heard. Stop taking our money and doing sweet fuck all. Just do something for God's sake. We joined your organisations to get our voices heard, and you don't do anything. It's just ridiculous. It really is.
Yep, that's true, man. Where to from here? I don't know, man. Been trying for 10 years and sometimes it does seem hopeless, to be brutally honest with you. And, you just to keep getting picked on all the time. And, people wonder why we're so, down on police sometimes. Well, we'd love to work with them, but we're sick of just being attacked, mate. We're just sick of it, So when they start showing a bit of good faith from the higher powers down to the foot soldiers on the ground, well, maybe we'll start giving them a bit of respect. We didn't do anything to them, so why are they playing the victim that somehow, we're the bad guys? Well, we're not the bad guys. I stopped feeling guilty a long time ago because I haven't done anything wrong. You just keep picking on me and keep attacking my sport. So I don't like that. So, and again, I don't like it.
Yep, exactly. And here's Steve White, Gun Control Australia. There's 3 to 4 people, very tiny organisation that always get a loud voice with the ABC. Exactly. They got the left-wing people on their side. That the media, no biggest voice in the media. They can just sprout this shit, and they don't care about facts. They just sprout all this garbage. When you got the national broadcaster sprouting their rhetoric, we don't have that. They won't give up. They just won't give us the time of day like that. And this is something else. Well, really, they haven't ever caught us think about Aussie capitalists. My Ackworth triple barrel will scare the shivers out of Gun Control Australia. 3 shots in less than a second. Exactly. They never come after that, have they?
No, I mean, the guns they go after sometimes don't surprise me. And then one they will go after, why would they go after that? But, these people don't know anything about firearms. That's the whole point. They just don't care. They don't care about your sport. They don't care about us. They don't do anything. All they want to do is cause us as much grief as possible and stamp their authority down. It's a privilege and this and that. We've been through this 100 times. So it's just we just got to keep fighting through the legal channels, mate. And, just like the people in Victoria doing about fighting with Andrews, there's like so many lawsuits right now being put against the Victorian government. But the only problem is too, it's the only way to do it. But guess what? They spend millions and millions and millions of dollars defending himself. But that's our money. That's our money, dude. That's our money. They're going to use our money to defend themselves against us. It's just, mate, beggars belief. No wonder why people gave up on this stuff a long time ago, man, and think there's just no way you can't do anything, mate. They've got endless amounts of money and they'll always win. The house is stacked against you. And you can't blame people for just having enough of it. You really can't, because the house is stacked against you by police. When did the police forget that we pay your wages? When did they stop working for the people? When did they start doing their own thing that we want to, we're the power hungry people? It's just, they forgot, man, a long time ago. They were allowed to get away with it, where the minister should be pulling the commissioner in line and saying, no, I run this show. You do as I say. You don't tell me what goes on. You do as I say. You better start changing the culture within the police force.
Yeah, exactly. Now, here is the only response I could find on that article out of 300 odd messages. And once again, it's just talking around in a circle. They still can't clarify anything, so I'll bring it up here. Gun Control Australia. Sorry, I'll get rid of that for you guys. To clarify, high-powered firearms are slipping through the cracks and being imported under low-level categories because of the current system to classify these firearms by their type instead of their capacity, such as rapid-fire capacity. For God's sake, what the hell's a rapid-fire capacity? If you're going to spring the shit on people, tell us what a rapid-fire capacity is. I don't know. I've never heard of rapid fire in 30 years of shooting guns. I don't know what a rapid fire capacity is, or a low level categories. They're saying here high powered firearms. What do you call a high powered? A 22-250 can get up to, which is a very small projectile, can get up to 3,800 feet a second. But then you get a 50 cal that doesn't go that fast, which is 50 times the size.
So, let me put it up again. Let me read it again.
Yeah.
Have you got it there?
Yep.
Yeah. So instead, yeah, right. So yeah, it does say, yeah, classify their firearms their type instead of their capacity, such as rapid fire capability. Well, I don't even think they know. But again, we played it a couple of weeks ago when I went head to head with Samantha Lee on Triple J. Remember, for the guys that were here a couple of weeks ago, and I said, "Well, name one of these, firearms, these straight pulls. This was all when the Adler was happening. I go, name one crime that's been committed with these Adlers, and even if there was 1, 2, or 3 crimes that have been committed, this is minuscule in the amount of crime that actually happens across the, not just in each state but nationally as well. And we didn't know any cases that have been portrayed." Or conducted with a lever action shotgun, not one. So the whole argument is just waffle and shit. So but what do you expect from Samantha Lee? They've dedicated their life to being anti-firearm, and I just think it's a bit of a mental health issue, really, because to not be involved in firearms but have such a hatred towards a firearm when you really don't own one and don't have any experience with them. Just shows you're a bit clicky in the head, in my opinion. Maybe not all there. So, if you're really going to get involved in something that doesn't directly affect you and take on that as a major milestone in your life, you probably have to question one's mental sanity, I think, because, again, we love firearms because we actually enjoy them. We're around them. We go shooting. We go hunting. We do all the sports. We do everything. That's why we like them. I don't just, don't just start hating something and start marching down the street with my pitchfork, my fire in my hand saying I'm anti-gun. Like, I've got better things to do, man, like work, earn money, feed myself, clothe myself. I don't get involved in shit I don't know about. But these people do because they got nothing else in their life.
So if you're watching this Gun Control Australia, which I'm sure you're going to end up watching this, how about posting or even emailing me? Tell me who's in your little club. Who is Gun Control Australia? I want a list of the people who run this, the board of directors or whatever. Is it a business? Do you get paid for this? Where does your money come from? Does taxpayers fund this? No one knows. Be open and transparent, and let's see how this business is run. Is it a business? I got no idea. No one knows. I have heard a very high-ranking media person from one of the big mainstream TV stations is their PR person. That's another story I was told by someone in the loop, that that's someone else who's a part of Gun Control Australia. Just be honest and tell us who's in the club and who and where. Is it a business? Doing this, Jason answered your question. They're doing this because it's a lucrative job for them. I don't know. We just have no idea because they don't tell anyone who's a part of Gun Control Australia. On Wikipedia, it names a few people, but they've all left to go work for United Nations and stuff like that. So,
if you one which I've said previously, there was a debate. I think it was the NRA guy Wayne LaPierre versus Rebecca Peters. If you just type in Rebecca Peters and Wayne LaPierre, it'll actually come up. It was quite a good, interesting debate, actually, with questions from the audience, I think, at the end as well. And I've watched it a couple of times, and yeah, very interesting. But mate, these people, there's like 2 people that's even if that's true, there's 2 people. Let's just say it's 1 or 2. they get on TV, radio, as they just trot these people out as if they're the professionals. Like, what would be stopping me just setting up an organization? All of a sudden, I'm on TV as the spokesman expert. Like, it's just, you can't make this shit up.
Samantha Lee, have you even shot a gun? Have you gone to a gun range and met the people and shot a gun? I would never comment on anything unless I've done it myself. Have you done any of this stuff? That's what I want to know. Come forward. Hey, well, we're more than happy. Get on the live stream. We're more than happy to. We're civil people. We'll talk to you. It'll be fun. I'm sure you're a lawyer. You can you obviously conduct yourself well. So I'm sure you could talk around us. And talk to us civilly. We're happy to talk to you if you're watching this, Samantha Lee. More than happy to have you on. I'm sure Jason would love to have you on his podcast as well.
Well, when I started asking questions on Triple Day, man, she started breaking down. That's for sure. And then, I think it was Hamish. I think it was Hamish. I'm pretty sure it's the guy that now runs Q&A. He was the host at the time for Triple J. I think it's the same guy anyway. And he was like, yeah, it's a good question. Well, what about that, Samantha? Oh, she's waffling. And it was probably one of my proudest moments, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. It's one of the previous live streams we did. We actually played it. And yeah, you guys loved it. And there we go about Philip Alpha's the anti-gun guy. I don't think he's a Kiwi as well. I don't think he is a part of Gun Control Australia. I just don't. I've been told he's not. Well, I read a report on Philip Alpha, some story, news article on him, and they actually, the anti-gun organisation over there actually asked him to leave in the US, asked him to leave because he's too extreme for their views. And they said, you got to leave. We don't want you here in our meetings, and got rid of him there. Yeah. So I don't think Philip Alphas is a part, but yeah, he is anti-gun and full of shit as well. Well, he says a lot of wrong facts and that we've seen over the years, of course, and everyone has.
Yeah, I'd love to. I keep saying, man, I'd love to have these people on the show, but it's either one or the other. I mean, they just don't accept. All the ones that may not like the show, they don't like what I do or the opinions that I'm got. I'm like, well, come on the show. I'd love to, to tell me, your opinion and let me know where I'm going wrong and what you think the way forward is. But they never do, man. The ones that even if they're pro shooting and they've got an opinion, they don't want to come on the show because I'm sorry, I'll just tear them apart. That's just how it is. Like, I don't want to be. I'm not trying not to be up myself or anything, but come on the show. I'd love to have you on. That is true. I'd love to have that discussion. Where are we going wrong? Where do you think we can go better? What am I saying that's wrong? I'd love that. But every time you ask them whether they're pro-shooting or anti-shooting, no, I don't want to come on your show. I don't want to go there, because they can mouth off on social media. But when it comes to recording it and getting torn apart, they won't do it because they'll just become embarrassed. And then their name's associated with that. And when it gets put on the internet for 20 to 40,000 people a month, they don't want to look bad, which I get that, But again, don't mouth off on social media. That's the only problem with social media. It's given everyone a mouth that, when it comes down to it, when you actually want to discuss it with them and come to a consensus and get some real discussion, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not coming on your show. Okay, well, then just continue to mouth off on the internet and look like a dickhead. It's up to you, really.
Yep, exactly. I just want to know, you put this stuff up. Just tell us what you mean. What is a rapid-fire gun? Now, name the guns that you think are rapid fire, and what is a high caliber or high capacity or whatever. Just tell us what you think it is. Let us know. It's just dumbfounds me. If you're going to say something, back it up with a few more facts or information at least.
Yeah, and they'll always go back to the same thing. You've always got to be ready for that question. We don't want to be like America. They got so many hundreds of thousands of deaths. But then you look at Brazil, remember? They had 59,000 deaths in 2014, 2015. Before 2019, old Bolsonaro getting into parliament there, opening up importation of firearms, opening up concealed carry. The first quarter of 2019, gun crime was down 25%, in the first 6 months of 2019. when he took office. So at the end of the day, it's like, well, does it really work or does it really not work? Sure, he's Bolsonaro's right wing, probably hard police stance. So I wouldn't say it's just opening up firearms that has made the difference. But at the end of the day, it's a combination of all of those things. So it just goes to show that, good, strong, solid laws and putting people away for a long time that do the wrong thing with firearms certainly changes the culture without having to take away the rights of the good people in Brazil that want to do the right thing, want to defend themselves, and want to go sport shooting. So massive changes in Brazil, huge changes in homicide with a firearm in Brazil. Perfect example. Like I said, it's not all firearms, but as in, it's not just the firearms issue that's made the difference. Certainly a hard police stance, not taking any shit. He's a pretty no bars hold type of guy. And it's made a freaking world of a difference in Brazil. Hopefully they can continue that going over the next, 5 to 10 years.
There's something else I want to say. Gun Control Australia gets dollars from the Alana Meriden Foundation. Weren't they two people who were killed? What shooting was that they killed in? The kids?
That was Walter Mikak is on that photo and that comment there. His wife and I think his two daughters were killed by Martin Bryant. So, and that's a hard one to win sometimes because, when you got a guy there that's sitting there saying, well, I have, skin in the game because my family, was killed. I do sympathize with that, and I couldn't imagine going through that. And I think that's absolutely a terrible thing. But, you got to ask yourself, instead of asking about why he had these firearms, you need to also ask the question about why the gun was back on the streets after it was handed into Victorian authorities and how that gun was found to be back in Victoria. That's the biggest question you need to ask. But again, they don't want to ask those questions. It's just, I've had a family that's died. I need to influence policy because I've had people that have died. Well, sorry, again, I just don't agree with that. I'm sorry. It's a tragic thing. I sympathize, but and again, they trot these people out to give themselves credence when it comes to negotiating these things or being on TV. And, you say something bad to them or say, well, no, that's not the way it should have been. Oh, you're the worst person in the world. So they just use the emotions against you of you being, cold and disrespectful. And, this guy's had a family that, well, sorry, that doesn't mean we need to change policy on the fact that some people died. I'm sorry. I don't believe that. I'm sorry. That might be horrible to say, but it is what it is. And that's the facts. You need to think logically. And if we're making policies on the fact that people that die or an emotion, you don't get good policy. We know that you don't get good policy. You need level heads. Anyway, mate, finishing off, I think. Put a couple up before we finish off, I think.
Exactly. Here's Nick. It's about money. They get funding from the left wingers. Yep, it's always the left behind all this. They don't like it, so no one else should like it. It just goes on. The comments are all pretty much the same. Great. Once again, we're so sorry we didn't get to all your comments. We just got hundreds. We've got almost 400 questions tonight. So it's just fantastic. You guys have made this the biggest gun live stream in Australia, and it is just unbelievable. So I'm very sorry if we didn't get to all your comments, which obviously we didn't because I'm just going through them now. There's just hundreds and hundreds of them. It's just really good that you guys keep coming back. Jason and me are very appreciative on all this. It's just absolutely great.
Yeah, no, it's been good, man. We didn't think it was going to, do as well as it did, eh? We were like happy. We were kind of nervous because we're like, what if we only get one person watching? What are we going to do?
Yeah. Well, if we get 20 after 2 months, is it worth us going on and doing this each week? But if we talk about it each week, that we just absolutely love this. It's like a highlight of our week, engaging with you guys. And it's very hard to answer all your questions during the week. I get about 30 messages on Facebook, Instagram, email every day, and I just can't answer. I try my best to answer them all. But like Jason, I've got a full-time job. I've got so much happening in my life apart from the show. So this is the best way we could figure out to actually get in touch with you guys and talk to you guys. It's been absolutely fantastic.
Well, our old mate Bagara said he might have a couple of ladies that might be interested in the old Silver Fox, mate. So might have to hit up old Bagara, B14 HM or Bagara operator, mate, going forward.
Yeah. No, might have to. Might have to. I'm not getting any younger. Here's one. Sorry, Zero G Force, a $2 donation. Is One Nation okay in Queensland? Not running where I am. In Queensland, CAP is not running where I am. No, they are not good at all. They have come out and said they will not change anything about the gun laws.
That's the hardest part. There's not many parties around who actually sort of agree with what we've been saying, you know what I mean? As in, you know, like it doesn't have to be full on, you know, everyone's throwing grenades and having tanks. You know, that's not what we're saying. We're just asking people to support that all firearms are the same and no firearms are different. And again, like I said, I'd be happy with a system. If you own certain guns for a couple of years, then you can own semi-automatics. Once you prove to be a good person for a certain amount of time, if that put their I guess uneasiness at rest, I'd be happy to go through that. I don't like it, but I'd be happy to go through it if I could get it. If I had to register a suppressor, I don't like it, but if I could get it, I would do that. You know what I mean? But again, we can't even get that. But anyway, mate, you got a couple there. Do those super chats. I'll shut up now because you got a bunch coming in. So do that, and then we'll finish off.
Yeah, they can't ban lever action, straight pulls, etc., unless the NFA is changed again. Well, they will change it. They just keep changing it all the time, don't they? In every state, because it's different, different laws in every state. We've talked about this several times. Last thing we need is a uniform gun laws. They're going to take the worst from every state. And we're all going to end up for worse, no matter what. They're not going to give us the good stuff, are they?
Nah, not at all. Did you see those other super chats there at the top?
Yep. Ross, $14.99. Thank you very much. No comment. A few of the guys here. JR, no comment. Dirty Fox. Don't forget about the Shooters app. I don't know about that one. But I don't support Shooters Union at all in any way or form after their backflips. If I did miss them, sometimes they don't come up, guys. I'm very sorry if I do miss your super chats. But sometimes they just don't come up. Like a couple here, they didn't even come up at the top of the page. So, yeah, it's been a very good night. A lot of very interesting comments in here. I'm going to have to go through and read them as well. I don't know about this party. Have you heard of this? The Australia One Party?
Not at this stage. It might be that. Well, I'll talk to that after the show. It might be the one I'm thinking of. I'll talk to you about that one.
Yep. And One Nation continues law. If One Nation stopped continuous law changes, it would be a start. Yep, I agree. Okay, and people just saying goodbye. So we've pretty much come to the end of it. We've talked to you for about an hour and a half, and it has been fantastic. Once again, a brilliant night. Totally brilliant. Sorry it took us a while to get into the main subject, but there's always something. And I think next week, unless something major comes up, we in the news, we will be doing a gun-related topic, something along the lines of the best hunting caliber or scopes or something along those lines. And hopefully I've got the new gun that I've purchased today. I'll have that in my hands to be able to show you. So
even if we finish off and because I think we're on about a 15 or 20-second delay, let us know in the comments what you want to hear about in the next coming weeks, because we'll still be able to read them once the show finishes. So let us know in the comments, on the last 20 or 30 seconds. Yeah, and we'll try and put them down on a list to talk about.
Yeah. Yep. Last few weeks, the government and organisations have been basically writing it for us, haven't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Weeks ago, what are we going to talk about? Then all of a sudden, bang, something like this happens.
All right, that's it. We'll finish off, mate. I've got to get going, so it's been a good night.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone, for watching tonight, and we really appreciate it. And thank you to all you super chats. Give the video a like and a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button. We're about to click over very soon to 7,000 subscribers. We've got to hit that 12,000 subscriber mark from when YouTube took my first channel down. So we're slowly getting there, but share this video everywhere. Share every review that I do. If you can, and just get the word out there. Share it from Facebook as well. So thank you so much for that. And Take a look at Jason's podcast page, some great interviews and story topics he talks about. And we will see you next week. Good night.